One of the most common questions that we've been asked almost on a daily basis when it comes to investing in the US market. As a Canadian, most people ask, what type of structure do we need to have? How do we actually protect our asset? Do we need the LLC, LP, and all that stuff? How do we avoid double taxation? So this video, I'm going to dive into this, right? So it's not that complicated. A lot of times when people talk about, setting things out so that you can start putting an offer out there, they're thinking about this, like some crazy different structure. It doesn't need to be that complicated. The truth is, it goes into sort of like this concept. You have in a sort of like a scaling phase. You might have your holding company, you might have your LLC that holds one property. So I'm going to talk about the most fundamental thing here. The goal here is so that you can avoid a bit of liability. When you start owning rental properties out of town, out of state, out of country, the most important thing is that you don't want your personal asset to be tied up with the potential liability. So for example, you're so far away, you're trying to like rely on a lot of local team to, execute certain type of a task. For example, like snow removal, landscaping, and all the other stuff. So the moment that happens and you have a slip and fall, for example, just throwing some examples here, you don't want the lawsuit to go against your personal name, because the moment that it goes that far, all of a sudden anything that's under your personal name gets affected. So the goal here is to set up LLC, isolate this asset class, and then if anything goes wrong, at least you can be dealing with that LLC only. You don't have to be dealing with all the other assets. So that's really the idea of asset protection and isolate your liability. In this diagram, you can see that there's a rental property 1, rental property 2, commercial properties. So a lot of times you don't necessarily even need to have one LLC for each property. You just have one property for one type of a category, maybe 3-4 student rentals, or you might have 2 or 3 duplexes under one LLC. And if you have commercial properties, then you can throw in another LLC. So, and these LLC honestly will be enough when you're starting out, because the truth is, you want to kind of test the market, prove the concept before you start scaling. Keep things very simple. LLC is all you need in the very beginning so that you can isolate all the other assets under your name, and then you use that to acquire your next property or your very first property. And for those of you who want to know how to avoid the double taxation, keep watching. I'm going to explain that in details on the next video.